8 o'clock. Let's call the Water and Light Commission meeting for July 3rd to order. Jordan, if you'd please call roll.
Commissioner Grindy?
Yes.
Commissioner Beauchamp?
Yes.
Commissioner Quirk?
Yep.
Commissioner Riopel?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Approve minutes for previous meeting, June 18th.
So moved. Second.
Please call roll.
Grindy?
Yes.
Beauchamp?
Yes.
Quirk?
Yes.
Riopel?
Yes.
Bills and payroll.
I'll move. Second.
Please call roll.
Grindy?
Yes.
Beauchamp?
Yes.
Quirk?
Yes.
Riopel?
Yes.
All right, nothing from the public. Reports, Todd.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Got a few items here to go over. Our 2023 miscellaneous contract, performed a final inspection on that last Thursday. Actually was a little bit disappointed that it wasn't more complete. They only hydro-seeded 4 out of the 5 projects. And then they only had 1 of those 4 that the grass had actually taken. So they got to go back, redo that. They filled out the inspection punch list again, gave that to Tim along with the seeding information from the spec. So he's going to have op go back and redo those. So it's going to be a little while longer before that one gets closed out. So hopefully we can get some grass to grow this time. And we still owe them around $10,000 yet on that contract. So there's some money out there with incentive to get them to finish that up. So our 2024 miscellaneous. Northolt's been working on the industrial park sub circuits 4 and 5 project. We got the rest of our 6-inch conduits, so they were able to start back in on that again. They've got, I think, probably 200 feet left of that to bore in, so not too bad on that. They've got the eastmost section of Circuit 5, the cable bored in. Water and Light incorporated that into the system, and Todd will probably talk a little bit more on what they did on that. So they're about 20% done with the contract, so making some progress. The rain and the 4th this week pretty much shut them down for getting anything done this week, so they'll hopefully get back on that on Monday. Our material, they've been trying to work on our suppliers to get some of the outstanding items delivered. We've still got purchase orders open from 2022 on some of that stuff, so it's trying to get some of that wrapped up. Crystal Sugar, mentioned before that they're looking at possibly adding a new metering station on their beet freeze. And we've got to get some equipment in order to do that. We met with them on June 20th to go over some of that. Just throw some ideas around, give them some preliminary costs. I think that meeting went fairly well. We got sort of a plan going forward. We do have quotes coming in on some of that equipment on the 9th, just to see what prices and deliveries are, and then we'll finish up the final estimates and then meet again with Crystal to finalize a plan. So if we got to get some of that equipment ordered, we need to do that. Some of that was out almost 60 weeks, so we're probably looking at 2026 construction if the way things are looking. Other than that, miscellaneous, working on the 2025 budget, 5-year capital costs for fiber and electric. We're meeting on July 9th to go over that for the first round. And then still slowly working on Business Highway 2 street lighting and the industrial park sub project that we're trying to get off and going. So that is what I have for my report, unless there's questions.
Any questions for Todd? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And Steve is not here. Ron is not here. Old business, nothing. Department heads, Todd.
Morning.
Morning, Todd.
And a couple things here too. Water crews, we got lined up with the schools. Ron called on Monday and he's got Widseth out there as his contractor, so we're getting the new water meters installed on the schools while they're shut down, so we'll hopefully get to the end of that probably by next week. And then as the crews are still out marking, the water and the electric crews kind of working together and getting everything marked on the curb stops for the GPSs, so if we have any trouble in the winter, we're not digging around too much. We have the GPS points, we can get to it right away. And we did get the new 6-inch water meter is installed out at American Crystal Sugar on the 24th, or I believe they did that one. So that'll be a nice test to see how much that meter's set up to measure the high and the low flow, so it should be quite a change. We're not losing any water there on the compound, so it measures right down to a cup almost, I guess, so that'll be nice. And then, as Todd mentioned, we did work with Northholtz. We had a outage last Wednesday night. We worked till about 7:30, I believe it was. We incorporated the new cable coming back out of the sub, so we have capability of feeding that on each end. And as they come down and install the cable, we'll be coordinating and picking that up with outages, so we want to have that done before they fire up in August, but it's going along pretty well. I'm confident that they'll get that done, so we're set up pretty good for backfeeding if we lose a circuit from somewhere else, so that'll be good. We had a routine checkup on the rooftop. They come and check the belts at the DSC, and they found one of the exhaust fans that is exhausting out like 12 different units in the building, which is the bathrooms and everything else. One of those motors is locked up, so bearings are out of it. I think we might get some quotes, or we're going to get some quotes on a VFD motor that doesn't have any belts on it. So it's waiting to hear from Johnson Controls and get a couple other quotes on that to replace that. And as Todd mentioned, we had that meeting with American Crystal, planning that out. I think we've got a good plan going together there. We just need to get those to commit. Keith was there too, so we'll see what they come up with. And we've been doing the mowing and spraying as needed in the subs in between the rain. And we did get a couple solar lights in that the city did purchase for us along the bike path on the point. They're kind of the old ones don't work anymore and you can't get parts for them, so we'll see how these work through the winter. But if you're in behind James Avenue, there's 2 new ones up there. So we got those up. I did go out and take a look at them the other night. Pretty bright, so it's kind of nice. Hopefully we'll be able to incorporate some new ones in there, but I want to see how they go for the winter. And got a A&L Potato. They tore the old warehouse down. They're trying to coordinate with them. I got to get with Todd to figure out how we're going to feed that new warehouse when they put it up. They're across the road right now, the feed was, so we're going to have to figure something out there. So I've been looking at that a little bit. Avant Energy was out and tested the meters out at the Wappa sub. That's something they do yearly, so they were out and did that last week. And then as Todd mentioned, we have our budget meeting coming up on the 9th with Keith, so we've been working on the budget and trying to get everything coordinated there. So other than that, that's about all I have.
Any questions for Todd? Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Brian. Morning.
Well, last week, Seth Bond attended a water conference, water treatment conference, and tested for his Class B operator's license. And then also last week, Corey completed a mandated cybersecurity assessment for East Grand Forks. Once that was completed, I was able to file and certify that with the Minnesota Department of Health. Brianna and I met to compile and enter our budget information for 2025. And lastly, I contacted Vite Incorporated Vac Trucks and set a tentative date for us to be able to clean the river intake structures. That's if the river ever goes down enough where we can get down there. But that's all I have in my report.
Any questions for Brian? Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Bree.
Nothing today, no questions.
Thank you. Carla. Thank you. Jordan.
Oh, just a few short things here. Back on June 17th, I attended a Green Step webinar. It's going to be the Northwestern chapter, so it'd be Crookston, Thief River Falls, Moorhead, basically, other communities that participate in that program and just kind of get ideas, and it makes us aware of some funding. So plan on doing that monthly. So East Grand Forks hasn't made any progress on that since June of 2020 when we started the program. So with this, I hope to advance that a little further and move to the next step of that program. Last Friday, me and Keith submitted the electric utility information report for 2023. So I want to thank Keith and Brianna for throughout the year getting all the information for that, all the 2023 operating statistics and some of that info. So that is done. So the next one will be the ECO or the SIP report that will be due on August 1st. So I have a meeting with Matt over at Frontier. It's going to be on the 18th of this month to go over what we're going to submit, because this year it's going to be a new reporting platform. We're not going to be using the Excel spreadsheets anymore. So a little update on that. As far as commercial projects I got going on right now, I got Frontier working on a small office split AC unit. So doing a custom calculation for that. It's going to be a smaller one. I'm waiting on some specs from Valley Golf for 2 new AC units that they put in over the last 6 months. And then Bass Pro Shops reached out about a lighting project done in the last year at Cabela's. So I've been working with their facilities manager on just making sure we have all the correct information and specs on that, since it is coming from the corporate side. And that is about all I have so far. Any questions?
Questions for Corey? Thank you, sir. Or Corey,
Jordan.
I'm sorry, Jordan. Hi, Corey. You got anything, buddy?
Nothing unless there's questions.
Thank you. Mr. Keith.
So as you can see, they've been working a lot on the budget. Brianna's been meeting with them, so I have kind of been staying out of the process for now. I kind of take a look at the end of it, but they've got the process all figured out, and it runs very smoothly. And also, the renewable energy project we've been talking about, the council approved the agreement last night. So at this point, it's not a done deal yet, but they get 180 days to do due diligence for the project, and then they would make a final commitment at that point. And so, as I've said to you before, we'll kind of wait around and see when that point in time is, and then we'll have a resolution drafted up for your consideration as far as the project moving forward. So that's what we got there. So that's good news. And then everything else I had written down here has been covered by others. So happy 4th, and don't have anything else unless you have questions for me.
That project will probably happen next year if it happens then?
My guess is not for sure. Probably happen the year after, maybe.
Oh.
It could happen next year, but they said 2 to 3 years for. So it depends on when this due diligence gets done. If it doesn't get done until 6 months from now, that puts you at the end of the year, and then they probably have design and stuff like that they have to do, and then they have to bid it out, and then the timing of when they can get the parts, et cetera. So I'm not going to say it'd be done next year.
Yeah.
Any questions, other questions for Keith?
Oh.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Commissioners' reports, anything?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Happy 4th of July, safe.
I'll
Make sure
move.
you wear your PPE.
I'll move to adjourn. Second.
You don't need a second to adjourn. Call roll.
Call roll, please.
Grindy?
Yes.
Beauchamp?
Yes.
Quirk?
Yes.
Riopel?
Yes.
He doesn't even need a motion.
Pardon? Robert's Rules of Order, you just moved to adjourn. That's enough.
That's okay.
But if you want official.
Yes. There's a public